Open your eyes. Ah, there. All is well. Teddy ball game. The sweet swing of Ted Williams. Red Sox and Mets coming up after this.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by E-Trade, the #1 place to invest online. By Pep Boys, cars like us, people love us. By Progressive Auto Insurance, with a new way to quote and buy at Progressive.com. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, official beer of Major League Baseball. This Bud's for you.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. A look at Bobby Valentine, who caused a little controversy around here. What's new? That's almost redundant. Here's the play in the 12th inning when they called catcher's interference. Bobby Valentine came out to argue, eventually got kicked out of the game. Randy Marsh throwing him out of the game. And he would reappear with a Mets t-shirt, a mustache made out of eye black, fake eye black, some sunglasses, a hat, and he was in the corner of the dugout, for which he has been suspended for a couple of games, fined $5,000. He is fighting that. But there is no doubt that just day after day after day, something wacko goes on around the New York Mets. We'll talk about his lineup. We'll talk about Al Leiter and what he will try to accomplish here today after a strong performance his last time out on Sunday night at Yankee Stadium. Here's a look at the lineup for the Boston Red Sox. It's the Budweiser starting lineup, and they lead it off with Jose Offerman at second base, John Valentin at third, Nomar Garciaparra at short. Mike Stanley is at first with Damon Buford, a former Met, in center. Troy O'Leary in left. Creighton Gubanek is the catcher. Darren Lewis is in right field, and Pat Rapp is pitching and batting ninth. I blew it already. It's Gubanek. I practiced so long. Here's the defense for the Mets with Agbayani getting the start in left field. McRae and Cedeno in the outfield with him. Robin Ventura, 5-time Gold Glove Award winner. He's over at third, and he's been busy this year with Ray Ordonez to his left, Alfonso at second, Olrud at first. Piazza catching the left-hander Al Leiter, who has had difficulty with both knees.
He hurt his left knee last year on June 26th. That was their first game against the New York Yankees. He is off to a slow start this year as his right knee has given him problems. You folks may know about that. If you have problems with one knee, usually you favor the other one, and you have problems with the other knee. Well, Al Leiter's, the foot on which he lands, that knee is taped. He's had 11 starts this year, 3-5. He does not give up many home runs. He relies on that cut fastball to right-handers, and he'll be facing an all right-handed lineup with the Red Sox today. There is the scouting report. That's his staple, the cut fastball that will be inside the right-handers. He's constantly trying to improve his curveball and changeup, and you'll see an occasional sinker to right-handed batters once he's established that cutter inside.
So Al Leiter ready to go. He deals with Jose Offerman to lead it off, then John Valentin and Nomar Garciaparra in the first inning, and eventually Creighton Gubanek. That's going to be my name for the day. A mental midget. Al Leiter works it in to Jose Offerman, and it's up and away for ball one.
Well, I joined you because Troy O'Leary is a left-hander in the Boston lineup, so all right-handers but Troy O'Leary, so we're even 1-1.
Off to a flying start. Boston won here last night in 12 innings. Here's a chopper to third. Easy play for Ventura. 1 up, 1 down. Offerman is gone for the first out here in the first inning. This broadcast, as always, also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. That'll bring in John Valentin, the #2 hitter at third base. Garciaparra hitting behind him. And this is a Boston lineup that comes in 9th in the American League, hitting .274. Mets as well come in hitting .274 as a team, as Leiter hits the outside part for strike one. But this is not a power-laden lineup, as Tim touched on in the opening. And they definitely still need another bat. I don't think that's any secret, as they may add someone before the trading deadline to help out this Boston lineup and to help out that very good Red Sox pitching. 1 ball, 1 strike on Valentin, who missed a few games with a strained left groin. Back in there and got the game-winning hit last night in the 12th. 2 balls and a strike from Leiter.
One thing as a right-handed batter that you have to try not to do is to open up that left shoulder too soon. You know the fastball's coming inside. Al Leiter flashes that pitch. He'll throw it 70% of the time.
That caught the outside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And when you're aware of the pitch inside, that's what Leiter will do. He'll throw the fastball away, and you give up on that pitch, much as though a left-handed batter would give up on the breaking ball away. A backdoor breaking ball.
1 out, nobody on. 2-2 pitch hit hard. Ventura can't come up with it, and that'll be a base hit. Valentin on with 1 out here in the first inning.
There are 2 people that come into play when Al Leiter has his good stuff. The third baseman, he has a Gold Glover down there, Robin Ventura, and the first base umpire, because there are an awful lot of check swings on that pitch out of the strike zone inside. If right-handers do hit the ball well, they'll probably hit it on the ground to Ventura often.
Well, if that's the case, and the Mets have a good guy over there to handle some of those smashes, although that one in and out of his glove for a 1-out single. With Garciaparra standing in. Nomar grounds a double play ball to short. The flip for the out. Over to first. 6-4-3. And Leiter faces only 3 in the first. A half inning complete here at Shea. Mets come up with no score. There's a look at the right-hander, Pat Rapp, pitching today for the Boston Red Sox. And a look at the Budweiser starting lineup for Bobby Valentine's New York Mets. Roger Cedeno leads off. He is in right field with Edgardo Alfonzo batting second at second. John Olerud hitting third at first. Great on-base percentage, number 2 in the National League. Mike Piazza is catching and cleaning up. Robin Ventura at third base with Brian McRae in center. Benny Agbayani in left. Ray Ordonez is the shortstop, and Al Leiter is pitching and batting ninth. Here's the defense for the Red Sox.
Troy O'Leary in left, Damon Buford in center field. Darren Lewis is normally the Boston regular center fielder, playing right today. Valentin and Garciaparra are super on the left side. Offerman a little shaky at second base. Former shortstop who had all kinds of problems with the Dodgers. Mike Stanley in at first, his 39th start, and Creighton Gubanik behind the plate.
Thank you.
Welcome.
That's why you did the defense. Here's Roger Cedeno leading off for the Mets against Pat Rapp. The right-hander with a record of 2-3. And he misses with ball 1. Cedeno was not the main part of a trade made over the offseason. As you look at the numbers for Pat Rapp with the ERA up over 5, he's actually made 1 appearance out of the Red Sox bullpen this year, but back in the rotation. Cedeno came here to the Mets, and he was kind of a throw-in. He had been with the Dodgers for a couple of seasons. He had been injured. He hadn't had a regular shot at playing the outfield, and all of a sudden they've got a guy who's leading the major leagues in stolen bases. There's a strike, and it's 2-1 from Pat Rapp.
Roger Cedeno, with 32 stolen bases, has more stolen bases than 8 major league teams, and 1 behind the Red Sox as a team. The Red Sox with 33, Roger with 32.
That's out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Joe, it's very simple. If Pat Rapp walks Roger Cedeno, it's a double. The combination of Rapp and his slow move to first base, slow coming home, Cedeno, an easy choice to steal as you look at Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cedeno leading off, and a chopper to short. Garciaparra into his left. Got rid of it in a hurry. 1 down.
Number 13, second baseman Edgardo Alfonzo.
And the scouting report on Pat Rapp: fastball, curveball, and change. You may remember a pitcher in the major leagues, a right-hander, Steve Rogers. He pitched under Joe Kerrigan with the Montreal Expos. He used to throw across his body. Pat Rapp, similar to that. Not as good as stuff. He doesn't throw as many strikes, but similar in his delivery. Good old country hardball.
Here's Edgardo Alfonzo, a .295 hitter. 8 homers, 30 RBIs, and he's made the switch from third to second base this year in order to accommodate the Mets when they added Robin Ventura as a free agent. 1 ball, 1 strike. You had that look at Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach for the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox actually hired Kerrigan before they hired their manager. That's how much he was thought of coming from the Montreal Expos with that low budget team and the job he did with that pitching staff. not only with a top talent, but reviving some pitchers' careers once they put on that Expos uniform.
And the reason that Joe was hired before Jimmy Williams was that Dan Duquette, the general manager of the Red Sox, was formerly the general manager of the Montreal Expos, knew Joe Kerrigan very well. And he said any manager ought to be able to work with him, and Jimmy Williams has worked with him very well.
A ball and 2 strikes on Alfonso, 1 out, nobody on, and Edgardo had that ball hit his bat for a foul tip. Ball and 2 strikes. There's Dan Duquette, general manager of the Boston Red Sox, came under big time fire and received a lot of heat for letting Mo Vaughn walk away. And it didn't sit well on the heels of letting Roger Clemens walk away. Duquette added Jose Offerman at an extremely steep price, which stunned a lot of general managers around baseball. And Offerman has had a nice start as a Boston, really every player. You want to play him at second, fine. You want to put him at first. You want to DH him. He's hitting .323 at the start of the day. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Alfonso. John Olerud waits on deck. Pat Rapp took care of Cedeno on a ground out to short. Alfonso. He went around, strikes out, 2 up, 2 down for a Nextel game break. Let's go back to Keith Olbermann at the Fox Network Center.
Joe, the national anthem had barely stopped ringing in Kevin Millwood's ears when this rang in his ears. Brady Anderson's 35th career leadoff homer, still only half the all-time record. But wait, there's more. Mike Bordick, the next batter, hit one. Then Will Clark hit a 2-run job. Bottom of the first, 0-4. Braves just watching. Joe?
Keith, thank you very much. 2 out, nobody on for Olerud. Orioles won last night in Atlanta, and they're trying to take the first 2 of that set. Here's Olerud, a .317 hitter. He has reached base via a hit or a walk in 58 of the 60 games played for the Mets this season. And he's quickly in the hole 0-2. Pretty good spot to hit third in front of Mike Piazza, who cleans up. The 0-2 from Rapp. Bouncing in there, a ball and 2 strikes. There's Creighton. He's wearing the catcher cam here this afternoon. We even had a chance to talk to Creighton. Gubonic. Can't do it. Cannot do it. There's a look at catcher cam.
Then, though.
The 1-2 from Rapp. Got away from Creighton.
The reason that we were talking to Creighton Bubonic was that he went to the same high school, Phoenixville High School, as Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza was a senior when Creighton was a freshman. Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, right outside Philadelphia, about 25 miles.
Here's the 2-2 from Rapp. Broken back grounder to Stanley at first. And the Mets send only 3 in the first inning. Good start for both Leiter and Rapp after 1 at Shea Stadium. Interleague baseball, no score. Well, we at Fox never pass up the opportunity to flail at a dead horse. So here you go. Here's the look of Bobby Valentine with the disguise on Wednesday night. And our art department came up with this just for future reference in case maybe someday Bobby needs another disguise. And we kind of think he got caught because the disguise wasn't very good. Maybe next time around he tries this. Mike Stanley leads it off and takes a strike. Looked like something out of the Stamford, Connecticut Community Theater production of Hair.
Our Cheech and Chong rerun.
That's not all we have in store for you today. I don't know if that's the good or the bad news. Stanley lines one into left field, but Agbayani back to get it. One down. The odd thing is that he had a disguise readily available. And I know that, I guess the story has since come out that the mustache was not actually a fake mustache.
Right.
It was eye black, that fake eye black that players put on nowadays.
Stick 'em eye black, yeah.
Made to look like a mustache. There it is. The glasses, the hat. I don't know what's on the hat. And a Mets t-shirt. There's a strike to Damon Buford. 1 out, nobody on.
Bobby actually in a press conference yesterday telling the press that he wasn't in the dugout. Well, that clearly showed him sitting in the dugout.
He's claiming that nobody saw him there. Here's a fly down the left field line on a shattered bat, and it drops foul and bounces out of play. That's the definition of a shattered bat, and that means more downtime, which gives us time to talk about Bobby Valentine.
It's also the trademark of Al Leiter. Damon Buford choking up on the bat and having it sawed off.
It's a little reassuring, though, to know that Bobby doesn't have a room off his office, kind of a disguise room where he can go in and pick different outfits out to trick the media, to make his players laugh. The timing was so odd, or maybe it wasn't when he did that. Buford takes a pitch up and away. I mean, you can understand what the thinking was behind that, but with everything else that's gone on, and here it didn't sit well.
It was odd. I think Steve Lyons brought it up well in the pregame show.
Buford goes the other way and gets a hit into right as it falls in front of Roger Cedeno. 1-on, 1-out.
If the Mets were in a week where they hadn't fired 3 of their coaches, we talked about that liar questioning the journalistic integrity of 2 fine sports writers in the New York area, one with the Times, one with Newsday, and then Bobby Bonilla refusing to pinch hit on Wednesday, and in the same game coming out with a disguise. Remember that movie, The Man of a Thousand Faces? Maybe that's his second.
That was Dave Wallace, who has lost the mustache since last we saw him as the pitching coach of the Los Angeles Dodgers. That gives him an entirely different look. He was a pitching coach of the Dodgers from '95 to '97 and was a top assistant to Steve Phillips, the general manager here with the Mets, and they pulled him down from the front office. Good guy to have hanging around that you can call on to be the pitching coach, and he is now filling that role for the Mets as he watches Leiter throw to first. And here's that play at first that I think we touched on last year. I don't understand the purpose of holding on a runner with your first baseman off the bag, and as the pitch is coming to the plate, that first baseman heading back to the bag.
Particularly with the left-handed pitcher out there, because a left-handed pitcher has to pick up his target, as Leiter does. And if something straight ahead, like John Olerud, is moving away from the bag, back to the bag, away from the bag, it's got to be troubling.
So he plays around over at first base as O'Leary pops one into left field for Agbayani. 2 out. But what you're doing in essence is, as the pitch is brought to the plate, you're taking your first baseman away from the larger part of the field, and you're basically committing him one way with his momentum back toward the line, and then he has to shift back toward the playing field. If the ball's hit down the line, there's no chance he can get back for that. But they continue to do it. 2 out, a runner at first for Creighton Gubanek. Runner at first, 2 down. No score, second inning. And a pitch inside for ball 1 from Al Leiter. Gubanek, a .231 hitter. His first major league hit was a grand slam. Nice way to break in his only major league home run, and he's driven in 5. He pops up here to the right side, should end the inning. Olerud there to put it away. And the Red Sox are finished in the second. Mike Piazza, Robin Ventura, Brian McCray coming up. The big guy will lead it off. No score.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by MasterCard. MasterCard, proud sponsor of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime.
Last night, bottom of the 9th inning, with the Mets trailing by 2. We talk often about how you have to pitch Piazza in off the plate. With John Olerud at first base and nobody out, that's what Flash Gordon tried to do, but he got it in the zone right there. Big difference, and a big difference in the ball game as Piazza hits his 12th home run of the year.
Boy, he leads it off. Oh, could you tell by his face after the ball left his bat?
Talk about exhaling after you hit. Mouth open, and the face broke into a smile with good reason, as that tied the game, but Boston won it in the 12th.
It was number 12 for Mike Piazza in the 9th inning as he leads it off. Took a strike, now a ball. By the way, Tom Gordon has been sent back for a medical exam on that elbow, and they are concerned that something's not right in there. He just didn't have any zip or any pop to the fastball last night. As Piazza grounds it up the middle, he is so strong that even on a ball like that, he fights it off and gets it through the infield in a heartbeat.
Strongest guy pound for pound. Here it is. Natural time last night, the home run. Watch the facial expression.
Why not? Over 400 feet away over the bleachers in left center. And here's the one just now. He fights this off, and he is able to get it through the grass and up the middle before Garciaparra can take a step. Ventura bunts, third base side, foul ball. That ball hit off the plate, so it was a ground ball. And that's strike one on Ventura.
I don't think that's a good play either. You've got the hole. We talked about the hole on the right side of the infield. It's all right for Robin Ventura to try to lay down a bunt, but with nobody on instead of a runner on at first base. Plus, if you get Piazza to second base, the bottom part of the order is coming up. You got a power hitter right here. 9 home runs on the year. That's not a good play by Robin Ventura.
Yeah, and you said what I was about to say. We showed Bobby Valentine, but that's Ventura doing that on his own.
Right.
1 on, nobody out, 0-1 the count. Double play ball maybe. Offerman had trouble getting it out of his glove, and still they turn a 4-6-3 double play. That took forever. Offerman couldn't get it out of his glove, and they still got Ventura by a step at first.
This is the second week in a row that we've seen somebody not be able to get a ball out of his glove. Last week it was Orlando Hernandez of the Yankees, and now Offerman, because of the speed of Ventura. Garciaparra realizing he still has time. Nicely done after he got it out of his glove.
Best thing that ever happened to Offerman was to get away from shortstop.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is where he struggled with the Dodgers. Talked to some scouts that think he might be best suited if he had to play in the field to play out in center field, but they have a good one in Darren Lewis. Buford's out there today, and they have Offerman in their lineup at second base. Here's Brian McRae with the bases empty, 2 out. Took a ball, now a strike. It's 1-1. Red Sox come in just a half game out behind the New York Yankees. Snapped a 5-game losing streak here last night with a 12-inning win. McRae takes ball 2. McRae trying to get something started with the bases empty, 2 out in the second. And now a 2-2 count. Last week when we were doing the game at Yankee Stadium between the Mets and the Yankees, the headlines and the hot topic had to do with that man, Benny Agbayani, getting some playing time in the outfield, and Brian McRae and Bobby Bonilla upset that they had been placed on irrevocable waivers. Well, McRae has played pretty well since then. In fact, came up with a big 9th inning game-tying hit. That Wednesday night game when the Mets eventually won it in 14 over the Blue Jays.
83.
2 balls, 2 strikes still. But then there's Bobby Bonilla, who's gone the opposite way. Was called on to pinch hit on Tuesday night, refused to come out. Can't find him on the dugout bench right now. Refused to come out and pinch hit. And then in that 14-inning game, Bobby Valentine, in my mind with good reason, said you don't want to play Tuesday night, you're not playing Wednesday night. And that thing's about to come to a head in a hurry, if it isn't already. The Mets may have to, there's Bonilla, they ought to put 5.9, 5.9 next to his name, because they owe him roughly $10 million from here on out between the end of this year and next year. That's why nobody wants to trade for him, and that's why it would be tough to eat that salary and cut him. Good play by Valentin down the left field line over the shoulder to Rob McRae and end the second inning. We'll be back to Shea Stadium after these words from your local Fox station. We've played a couple, no score. The Red Sox have 2 hits. They've hit into a double play. The Mets have a base hit, and they've hit into a double play. Al Leiter back to the hill. Lewis, Rapp, and Offerman, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Red Sox. Leiter on those bad knees makes a good play off the mound. A little whirl and a throw, one away, and let's take you down to Sam Marciano. Sam?
Well, I'm here with Katie Feeney, the Senior Vice President of the National League, and Bobby Valentine has appealed the suspension and the fine. What's the status of that? When is the appeal going to be heard?
No date has yet been set for the hearing of the appeal, but it will be set fairly soon, I think.
Now, Valentine's contention is that he didn't actually come into the dugout because he was on the steps. What does the rule say?
The actual rule, which is National League Rule 5.1, says that when a player, manager, trainer, or coach is ejected from the game, they must remain in the clubhouse.
Now, if the suspension stands, when will he have to serve it?
The league president will make that determination after he hears Bobby's appeal.
Well, we'll see what happens. Now let's send it back upstairs, guys.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Here's Pat Rapp, the pitcher, at the plate. No confirmation as to what Bobby will wear to the hearing. Dressed as the mother from Psycho, wrapped in a shawl in a rocking chair, something offbeat. Fouled straight back, 1-2. You know, I want to go back to something you said earlier. In any other circumstance, I personally, now maybe you disagree with me, I think what he did was kind of funny. I mean, it really isn't that big of a deal.
That was his intent, to be funny at that time, to loosen his team up, he said. But if you're ejected from the game, I mean, the rules are the rules as far as the National League's concerned. They shouldn't see him. I mean, if you come up and you kind of peek out of the tunnel, that's one thing.
But that happens all the time. I mean, these managers,
right,
they do
that's
not
true.
stay in the clubhouse.
No.
Despite what Katie said.
That's right. They manage from the tunnel in ballparks that allow a manager to be close enough to manage from the tunnel on the way to the clubhouse.
They've had bat boys run messages out to the acting manager. They've been able to yell to the acting manager. It's more done for etiquette. Keep him out of the dugout, out of sight. Well, Bobby Valentine definitely was not. Here's another suggestion for Bobby Valentine. Are we wearing this out or what? John 3:16. Wasn't that it? Wasn't that the Bible verse?
That's the guy.
Rainbow wig. Where's that? No chance he gets caught. But that was the problem. The disguise was not good. It was a good effort, but not effective enough. First strikeout for Leiter as he takes care of Pat Rapp. And with 2 out, nobody on, the batter will be off from him. A strike from Leiter. Jose Offerman grounded out to third his first time up. Leiter. This is down and in. Now Leiter, a guy who is obviously disappointed with his performance to this point. He has been looked on as the staff ace, especially after signing a big contract over the offseason. Alfonso with a backhanded stab. Good play, and the inning is over. The Mets go in order for the first time this afternoon. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Bottom of the order coming up for the Mets. No score. Beach towel day here at Shea Stadium. A nice sized crowd on a Saturday afternoon for the Red Sox and the Mets. And Benny Agbayani gets a nice hand as he walks to the plate. The number 7 hitter with 8 home runs. He is 27 out of 68 and he's hitting .397. Bonilla was out with the bad knee. Henderson was out with the knee. Agbayani was called on, and he has done nothing but come up here and shock everybody by the way he's hit.
Benny, the 3rd New York Met player from Hawaii, born in Hawaii. You may remember Ron Darling, former right-handed pitcher for the Mets, pitched against the Red Sox in the 1986 World Series. He is a very interesting story. I was talking to Frank Cashin, the ex-general manager of the Mets last night. Frank saying Benny Agbayani is an acquired taste. The more you see him, the more you like him.
He is built like a rock. I mean, he is put together. He is strong. He's muscled 8 home runs over the boards. Bottom half of his body, he is working on a solid foundation. Big, thick thighs. When he gets into a ball, he can crush it.
Volcanic rock.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Agbayani leading off. No score third inning and a 2-2 count from Pat Rapp. There's Frank Cashen.
Frank up from his home in Florida. General manager of the Mets, who designed that 1980s ball club, the fearsome 1986 club that won 108 games.
There's a drive into left field. See you later, number 9. Agbayani's done it again. 1-0 Mets in the third.
Wow. Add to that.
Homer and Hawaiian, major league leaders at bats per home runs. Agbayani, and they want a curtain call from Benny, who leads that list. He gets into another, and we talk about a guy who's strong. There was zero doubt about that drive down the line. Ordonez chases a pitch over his head for strike 1.
Hawaii, the 50th state in the union, number 50, puts the Mets on top. Hanging curveball, and I mean he crushed that ball.
Ordonez after another high delivery. It's 0-2.
Pat saying, hey, gave up a big league home run. Big deal. He's going to hit it. He might as well hit it that hard. And man, did he ever smoke it.
Here's a guy who's got 9 home runs and only 69 at bats.
92.
A ball and 2 strikes on Ordonez. Shane Spencer, who in the Bronx came up at the end of last year, was red hot, rolled that at least into the first round of the playoffs. He's kind of disappeared since then, up and down with the minor leagues in Columbus. Here's another look at the home run from catcher camp.
Hanging curve, but not for long. Woo.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ordonez with nobody out. Stays alive. We've seen 3 swings in this at bat alone. I tell you why Ray Ordonez has not hit well and has not had a very good on base percentage in his time in the big leagues. He is not selective at the plate by any stretch of the imagination. The hitting coach Mickey Brantley watching as, with nobody on or out, the 2-2 pitch heads into Ordonez. Why not? Laid off 3-2.
A walk to Ray Ordonez is a rare thing indeed. 167 at bats, 12 walks, 2 intentionally.
Rapp trying to bounce back after a 402-foot home run from Agbayani. Diving try by Garciaparra, but it's a hit for Ordonez. So with Ordonez on, nobody out, here's today's All-Star Ballot update brought to you by Pepsi. See who's leading in the American League. No surprise with Jeter at short. No surprise with the leading vote getter, Ken Griffey Jr. in center. A lot of Indians on that list. Jose Canseco, the DH. Been slowed by a bad back lately. What a start for him in a Tampa Bay Devil Rays uniform. Zitomi, Alomar, Lofton, Ramirez, all Indians on that list. Here's Al Leiter. Up there to bunt.
91.
Strike 1. You will be able to find the All-Star game right here on Fox on July 13th from Boston. That is going to be some scene at Fenway Park. Ted Williams is scheduled to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. I'll give you a look at the National League voting leaders after this at bat by Leiter.
90.
Good bunt. That'll get Ordonez down to second, 1 away. Leiter does his job. Sacrifice, good 1-4. And a look at the National League leading vote getters with Piazza, the Met catcher, behind the plate. Sammy Sosa leading the way in center field. Mark McGwire isn't leading. One of the main reasons why McGuire isn't leading is the Cardinals have predominantly played on the road at the start of this 1999 season. They're at the start of a 13-game homestand, so that may change.
You can see the angle of the bat by Al Leiter down the third baseline, and that permitted him to bunt the ball down the first baseline. Angle of the bat determines where the bunt's going to go.
Here's Cedeno. He bunts the other way. Good try. Valentin, a barehanded pickup and throw. 2 down. Score at 5-3, and it took a good play from Valentin to get Cedeno.
Normally, this is not a good play. You don't sacrifice a runner to second base to have your next batter bunt. However, Cedeno has such great speed that it usually takes a perfect play, even with the third baseman playing in, and a great play by Valentine to barehand the ball and throw out the speedy Cedeno.
5-3, there'll be no sack.
So Cedeno's gone. Runner at third, 2 out for Edgardo Alfonzo, who struck out his first time. Breaking ball stays up, ball 1. Talking earlier about Shane Spencer, who had that great flash with the Yankees at the end of last year, and Benny Agbayani is trying to top that here in Queens with the Mets. He's a fan favorite already, and he has popped a home run, his 9th of the year, to give the Mets a 1-0 lead in the third as Rapp looks Ordonez back to third.
I'll tell you, that was very, very close. Pat Rapp on the rubber, but with that runner on at third, Rapp had to step off the rubber and then fake to third base.
Caught the outside corner, a ball and a strike.
When in doubt with a team that does that, Ordonez breaking off a third, he's going to try to induce the balk. You ought to just stretch.
Rapp continues with the windup. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hard hit, fair past third to score Ordonez. Alfonzo thinking double. O'Leary gets it back in. A 2-out RBI double by Alfonzo, and the Mets lead by 2.
Pitch by Rapp. Rapp by Alfonzo. The Red Sox have been feeding Alfonzo a steady diet of fastballs inside. Edgardo looked like he was looking for it there, turned on it to drive in the second run. You can pitch him inside, but not a steady diet of balls inside. He's too smart.
Those 2-out RBI hits for struggling teams seem to count double.
That's really true, isn't it?
Got a team that's just dying for wins. They get a 2-out RBI double from Alfonzo, and now they look for even more from Olerud. Runner at second, 2 out. And a ball from Rapp.
82.
The numbers for Olerud, he's driven in 38. And some pop with 9 home runs. Alfonzo at second, 2 out. Pitch from Rapp, a ball and a strike.
One of the asides of the coaches, the 3 coaches that were fired last Sunday, Randy Neiman, Tom Robson, the hitting instructor, Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, was that John Olerud saying Tom Robson was the best hitting coach he had ever had.
91.
To the shortstop, Garciaparra to his left. Olerud out by plenty, and the Mets get only 2. They started with an Agbayani homer to lead off this third inning. 402 feet later, it was 1-0 Mets. Rapp, who cares? 1 more RBI, it's 2-0 New York. A look at Benny Agbayani, who has just given the Mets a lead. A 2-out RBI double by Edgardo Alfonzo later, and it's 2-0 Mets as we go to the 4th inning. Valentin leads it off. And takes a strike from Al Leiter.
Joe, that was Benny Agbayani's first at bat since firing a ball off the batting cage on Wednesday before the game. Came up and hit him in the eye. His eyes are all right.
The young man of this past week, when he was told, Bobby Valentine said, I don't think he'll have to go back to the minor leagues, cried because he was so happy So overwhelmed, I'm sure, by his success in such a short while in a Mets uniform and all that he'd been through in the minor leagues. And he ends up coming up here to the Mets, pounding home runs, working his way into this lineup on a pretty regular basis. That's the kind of emotion that came out of Agbayani when he was told he wouldn't have to go back to the minor leagues. Valentin checks his swing, and the count 2 balls and a strike on the Boston third baseman. Agbayani is in left field, and Ricky Henderson sits and watches. 2 balls and a strike on Valentin. Into left center field, pretty well hit, but Agbayani back to get it. 1 down. Fox sounds of the game, the words that came out of the mouth of Bobby Valentine when Agbayani went deep.
Your eyes working okay? Huh? To start.
Yes, they are.
1 out, nobody on for Garciaparra. Nomar bounced into a double play his first time, and he rockets that one to Ventura. I've already said Ventura is going to have to be alert. Good thing he was on that bullet to third. Right now, a Nextel game break. Let's go back to Keith Olbermann in the Fox Network Center.
Joe, they're calling him the Benny Agbayani of the White Sox. Frank Thomas in a power slump, or bye-bye, his 6th of the year. He also has another hit, an 18-game hitting streak going. The White Sox 2-0 in the third over the Cubs.
All right, Keith.
Benny Agbayani here in close to mid-June with 3 more home runs than Frank Thomas.
And compare the at-bats. Here's a pitch down and in to Mike Stanley, a favorite while he was with the Yankees. Back with Boston, hitting .275 so far this season. 6 homers, 30 driven in. Leiter working well, coming off that big win. Not only for Al personally, but for the Mets, as they avoided the 3-game sweep and stopped the winning streak of Roger Clemens of the New York Yankees on Sunday night. Hard hit, caught. Robin Ventura. He got his sleep last night knowing that Leiter would be on the mound today, and he makes 2 terrific plays here in the Boston 4th inning. This to end the top of the 4th. Great catch by Ventura. 2-0 Mets. Pat Rapp goes back to the hill. 2-0 Mets. Joe Buck and Tim McCarver, our little perch. Hi. Hi. You've been in this booth before. How does it feel coming back to Shea? You spent a lot of your life right here in this booth.
From 1983 through 1998. Long run.
Nice
16
to see
years.
the reception. You won't say it, but I'll say it. Everybody happy to see you back running the hallways here at Shea Stadium. Here's a strike to Mike Piazza, leading it off with Ventura and McRae to follow. Piazza singled up the middle his first time, then was erased in a double play hit into by Ventura. Into right center field. Will that carry? Back is Lewis to make the catch. 1 away.
Third baseman Robin Ventura.
So Piazza the first out here in the 4th inning with Ventura coming up. Anytime Piazza gets into a ball, gets it in the air to right center field, you got to think, well, maybe he got that out of here.
That's his slot. It's almost like a left-handed pull hitter. He didn't even hit that ball well. Hit it off the end of the bat. Shaking his head like that. Didn't quite get it.
Nobody on with 1 out. Ventura takes a strike. Bounced into that double play, as I mentioned, back in the 2nd with McRae on deck. Two balls and a strike as Ventura took it in the dirt. Bad wrap. Red Sox down by 2, and Ventura fouls it away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I guess the question around New England right now is, are the Red Sox good enough to hang in the race in the American League East with the New York Yankees? Look at Jimmy Williams. Now Dan Duquette, the general manager of these Red Sox. He has added depth to this pitching staff, and they hope that Ramon Martinez will come back shortly.
Talking to Joe Kerrigan before the game, the pitching coach, and saying that Ramon, that's the brother of Pedro. That's Pedro, who is just remarkable once again. Could be back as soon as the All-Star break, and what a boost it would give this Boston staff. Ramon with great success for a number of years with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ventura muscles one into right field for a hit. A 1-out single for Robin Ventura. Well, here is your chance to win a Nissan Frontier Crew Cab, the first compact pickup with 4 real front hinge doors. Just answer the question below and log on to foxsports.com for your chance to win. Winners will be announced live during the All-Star game on July 13th. 1 on, 1 out for Brian McRae. B-Mac, it's his nickname. Came up with the Kansas City Royals. Father Hal McRae starred in Kansas City. Then he was with the Cubs, now with the Mets. Takes a ball from Pat Rapp. Right on cue. Nissan behind the plate here at Shea Stadium. 1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes on McRae. And that hit him on the foot. That'll put 2 on with only 1 out here in the 4th inning, and Pat Rapp is working his way into trouble. Jimmy Williams talks out of the side of his mouth to Joe Kerrigan, his pitching coach.
Looked like it hit Brian McRae on the right shin. Yeah, the outside of the right shin. But the hottest hitter in the National League, maybe in baseball, the batter now with 2 on, and in the background, Benny and the Mets. You got it.
Benny and the Mets. I saw Jimmy Williams talking to Joe Kerrigan. He goes out there to talk, and there's an up close and personal look at the faces of Pat Rapp and Joe Kerrigan from Catcher Camp. Need to put a little light on top of that catcher's mask. Kerrigan back to the dugout. Two on with 1 out. The batter will be Agbayani. Then he homered his last time up. 402-foot blast down the left field line, and the crowd starts to get into it. One of their new favorites as he takes a ball low and away. Look at those numbers. 406 average with 9 home runs. 28 out of 69. Runners at first and second, 1 out. 2-0.
He had a curveball out, and he hasn't thrown a curveball. Pat Rapp hasn't the first 2 pitches. Sometimes if you're a home run hitter and you hit 1 pitch out, you eliminate that pitch the next time up. You may come back to it the 3rd and 4th time, but not the 2nd time.
Agbayani takes ball 3.
Interesting background. We mentioned he was born in Hawaii, but he is part Samoan, Filipino, Portuguese, and Chinese.
2 on, 1 out, 3 balls, no strikes. A strike from Pat Rapp. You can understand why he's pitching carefully to Agbayani after what happened the last time Agbayani was at the plate. We'll give you what the advice was. Joe Kerrigan went out to the mound to talk to Pat Rapp after this at bat, as he brings it home on 3 and 1. Got it past him, 3 and 2. Two on, 1 out. Joe Kerrigan paid a visit. Rapp ran it to 3-0. Now it's a full count. Will the runners go? 2 on, 1 out. They are going. Agbayani strikes out, and that should end the inning on a double play. They have the runners hung up, so they pick their poison, and they will chase McRae back to the bag. Offerman tags him, strike him out, throw him out, double play, and we go to the 5th inning. Here at Shea Stadium, Mets had a chance, just missed an opportunity, and lead by only 2.
To be aggressive in this situation, he's going to swing at one of the first 2 pitches, so I'd have a good setup on the fastball away. Hey, don't try to overpower this pitch. Just try to think location first and not power second, all right? Just give him a look, pick up your target, and here we go, all right?
And that advice eventually worked as Rapp ran it to 3-0, but came back to strike out Agbayani at the front end of a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And by the way, McRae was out stealing 2-5-4 for those of you scoring at home. Grounder foul outside third off the bat of Buford, a ball and a strike.
Joe Kerrigan, interestingly, goes out and tells Pat Rapp, the dangerous Agbayani, fastballs away. He threw 6 straight fastballs away. He missed with the first 3, hit with the next 3.
1 ball, 1 strike as Leiter brings it home. That caught the inside corner for strike 2.
That was a very positive meeting on the mound. Instead of planning that negative thought, perhaps a thought that a pitcher never thought about, it was a very positive meeting. Here's what you want to do, and he did it.
Third foul.
Here it is. We'll go through the sequence to Agbayani. Ventura on at second base, McRae on at first. 1 out. Here it is. This is fastball away. That's a cutter. That's another one. That's another one. 3-0. Good morning. Afternoon.
And in case I don't see you tonight, swing and a miss by Buford. He's gone. 1 away. Let's take another listen.
Be aggressive in this situation, he's going to swing at one of the first 2 pitches, so I'd have a good setup on the fastball away. Hey, don't try to overpower this pitch. Just try to think location first and not power second, all right? Just give him a look, pick up your target, and here we go, all right?
And that's a pitcher following instructions by his pitching coach, even with a haunting piano playing of Elton John in the background. 1 out, nobody on for Troy O'Leary. That strikeout, by the way, Leiter's 2nd of the day and the 1,000th for his career. O'Leary takes a ball. Troy leads this Boston team in home runs with 11 and is on a pace to hit 30 home runs in 1999. The Red Sox haven't had an outfielder hit 25 or more home runs since Dwight Evans back in 1986. It's Jim Rice, who was a part of that 1986 team, the hitting instructor for Jimmy Williams and the Red Sox. The 1-1. Outside corner, good pitch, strike 2.
I know all you Red Sox fans are thinking, well, we got you on this one. No, you didn't, because Dewey Evans hit 34 home runs in 1987, but he was primarily a first baseman that year.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, Al Leiter is just nasty on left-handed batters. And there it is, the World Championship after the Red Sox were up 3-2. And Mets winning games 6 and 7. Obviously trailing in both games.
O'Leary tried to check his swing, and he did. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Did he hold up? Good call by Frank Pulley.
Replay Frank over at third. 3-2 pitch. Out of play.
There are only 5 active players for both teams that played on the 1986 Mets and Red Sox. Rick Aguilera traded from the Twins to the Cubs. Boggs, Clemens, Orozco, and Gooden.
Inside corner, O'Leary gone. That's strikeout number 3 on the day for Leiter. Here's the last out. Who can forget Jesse Orozco with those arms raised into the air, striking out Marty Barrett. Mets with a come from behind victory in game 7 as they had in game 6. And that reaction, the New York Mets, their 2nd world championship.
The glove that never came down.
Yeah, I don't think it's still up there
It's
somewhere.
still up there.
2 out, nobody on for Creighton. Gubanek. This has got to be the interleague series that Bill Buckner just dreads. He is against interleague play
because of this.
Because the Mets have to play the Red Sox. And I hope that Bill Buckner is on a boat somewhere out in the middle of a lake with no radio, obviously no television, no nothing. It is a shame that when you think of Bill Buckner, so many people think of that one play for a guy who had a tremendous career. A lot like Jackie Smith, Hall of Fame tight end, mainly for the St. Louis Cardinals, but going to Dallas at the end of his career, dropping that sure touchdown pass in the end zone, and he's remembered for that.
To a lesser degree, Chicago Cubs outfielder Brant Brown last year, the drop in Milwaukee. Mickey Owens, the third strike that eluded him with Tommy Henry batting. 41 series. Ralph Branca, the home run ball that he threw to Bobby Thompson, the shot heard round the world. Bobby Valentine's father-in-law, ironically. Certain guys have bigger loads to carry around than others.
Leiter trying to strike out the side in the 5th. That's foul. Jason Varitek is the. Oh, wait a minute. Stop mid-sentence. So Bonilla pops out into the dugout, and he and Valentine talk it over. Hey, sorry. Inside 3-2.
Bobby Bonilla and Bobby Valentine had a meeting last night. Reportedly cleared the air. There's a lot of air to clear, too.
And when you do that in the front of the dugout, that's done for a reason. That's done so that we pick it up. That's done so that still photographers pick it up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And Gubanek flies into shallow center.
In other words, everything's okay, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All is forgotten.
Yeah.
There's Steve Phillips. He knows he's on TV, so he looks straight ahead. Halfway through it, 2-0 Mets.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by the GMC Yukon. Do one thing, do it well. By Smooth Refreshing Michelob Light, beer or Michelob. By K-Swiss Athletic Footwear and Apparel. And by Pepsi, the thrill of Star Wars Episode 1 and the joy of cola.
From the outside to the inside. Down into the dugout, the Mets dugout. Todd Pratt working on his gamer.
Looks
Maybe
like he's
working on Piazza's
yeah,
gamer.
he's working on Mike Piazza's gamer. Keeping that webbing tight so the ball doesn't get hung up on it or in it.
As Ray Ordonez, the number 8 hitter, 1 for 1 with a single and a run scored back in the 3rd. Makes a strike. It'll be Ordonez and the pitcher Al Leiter and Roger Cedeno. Ordonez with that 3rd inning single is up to 263. Catcher Cam on a cloudy day, a fly ball into right. Red Sox had him played perfectly near the line. Lewis pulls it in, 1 down.
One impressive thing about Pat Rapp this afternoon, he's throwing strikes. He did hit Brian McRae in the 4th inning. But last year with Kansas City in 32 starts, Pat walked 107 in 188 innings.
That's a recipe for disaster.
It sure is.
As he deals with Al Leiter. He grounds it up the middle, and Rapp makes a nice play. 2 down. So Leiter's gone, hit it hard up the middle. Now 1 out of 21 on the season. With 2 out, nobody on, back to the top, and Roger Cedeno, who will take his time getting to the plate like all good leadoff hitters will do. Just a little slow walk. Let your pitcher go have a seat in the dugout. Cedeno hops in there, 0 for 2. Takes a ball. The Red Sox had to make a roster move They have placed Brett Saberhagen on the disabled list. He's scheduled to start tomorrow here at Shea, but he cut his foot on a piece of glass in a swimming pool over the off day. Cedeno fouls it out of play. And as they put Saberhagen on the disabled list, the Red Sox called up Kirk Bullinger, minor league right-hander who's been with the Cardinal and Expo organizations. And he is here in uniform today. And they may have to disable Tom Gordon depending on what that examination reveals as they check out his pitching elbow back home. Cedeno took ball 2 up and in 2-1. And if that happens, Dan Duquette told me that Jin-Ho Cho will be recalled from AAA to make a start. Mark Portugal, who contemplated retirement this past week, will get the start tomorrow here in New York. 3 balls and a strike on Cedeno.
And if you folks are wondering, well, if Tom Gordon's out of there, who's going to be the stopper for Jimmy Williams? The knuckleballer, Tim Wakefield.
Three balls and a strike. Cedeno, full count. So you go really from one extreme to the other. A hard-throwing right-hander from Flash Gordon with that nasty curveball to a knuckleballer to close out a ballgame. Wakefield has made 3 appearances out of the bullpen and has 2 saves in 1999. 3 balls, 2 strikes. It'll stay right there.
If you are racking your brain thinking of, well, what other knuckleball closers have there been in the major leagues? Hoyt Wilhelm, the Hall of Famer, both started and relieved, was a short reliever. Charlie Huff had 40 saves for the Dodgers in '76 and '77. Also Barney Schultz with the St. Louis Cardinals back in '64.
Rapp takes a little time. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Cedeno. Here it is with a full count. And a ground ball to the left side, base hit. Put it in your pocket, Nomar. Cedeno can run. A 2-out single.
Second baseman,
and here's the spot, Tim, where you have 2 out. Man at first. You have Alfonso, good contact hitter at the plate. Guy who's already driven in a run with a 2-out RBI double in this game. I expect to see Cedeno take off.
Maybe on the first or second pitch. I'd pitch out if I were the Red Sox right here. Or throw the fastball on the outside part of the plate, figuring Alfonso's going to be taking anyway, so don't waste the pitch out. Throw a strike. Alfonso, very good hitter, hitting behind in the count and with 2 strikes, but he'll go early. He usually does.
32 stolen bases, been caught only 5 times this season. And Rapp gives him a look. Runner at first, 2 down. Mets already lead by 2 in the 5th inning. Check on Cedeno. We talked last week about it, but it's worth bringing up again for those who weren't with us when we did the Mets and Yankees. Essentially, one of the players that Cedeno has replaced in this lineup for the Mets is Ricky Henderson. We showed you earlier on the dugout bench. Henderson has worked very hard with Cedeno, trying to teach him the art of base stealing. Who better to have in your own clubhouse than the all-time stolen base king. Pitch out, still can't get it. Throw bounced in there, and Cedeno gets number 33. So they do pitch out, and it still doesn't work, and it's a runner at second, 2 down.
Gubonic tried to hurry his throw. He gave Offerman the short hop. Watch the pitch out. Tried to hurry the throw, short hop to Offerman. In the heel of the glove, he really never had control, and that straight in slide by Cedeno. And don't think he stops at second. When he steals second, he thinks third. There's the pitch out. And the throw.
And now runner at second, 2 out. And a hit could mean another run. Alfonso grounds to short for Garciaparra. And the inning is over. So a 2-out single by Cedeno. He steals second. He's left there. And after 5, the Mets out in front by 2.
Mike Piazza and the Mets take on Mark McGwire and the Cardinals. Or the Phillies battle the Dodgers. Coverage begins next week within the zone at 12:30 Eastern and Pacific on Fox.
You know, at this pace, if Al's still pitching, when he's about 78 years old, we'll be approaching Nolan Ryan.
Oh, he's cheating now. We'll be approaching what?
Nolan Ryan's strikeout total.
One the other way now. Here we go.
Bobby Valentine joking with Dave Wallace, his new pitching coach, in reference to Nolan Ryan and his 5,714 career strikeouts, as opposed to Al Leiter, who has 1,001, thanks to 3 here this afternoon. And that just puts into perspective the kind of career ability that Nolan Ryan had and the longevity that Nolan Ryan had. What an arm and what a total. 5,714. Chopper off the plate. Tough play. Who wants it? Base hit. Well, Al Leiter has been slowed by a couple of bad knees. We asked Al about those knee injuries and how it's affected his pitching.
I noticed through film and talking to a couple players and Bobby Valentine that I wasn't pushing off, and I really didn't pay attention to much of the video until I really saw how dramatic of a change it was from when I was healthy. Last year footage and even some earlier footage of me following through and falling off to the right side, especially on my power pitches, slider and fastball on the inner part of the plate to the right-hander. Curveball and changeup, it's less of an aggressive pitch, and I fall off a little bit to first base. That's okay.
He's given up an infield single, and that gives Rapp a chance to bunt. Longtime National Leaguer. Rapp takes ball 1.
Once again, Al Leiter injuring his left knee on June 26th of last year. The first game, Yankees and Mets here at Shea Stadium. An inside pitch to Derek Jeter. And then this year, he injured his right knee, and you can see right in there that little break in the taping of trainer Phil Hina. Fred Hina.
Rapp bunts it foul. Let's take it back to June 26th, 1998, and the injury. Al Leiter had to cover first on this ball hit by Jeter.
That little stint on the disabled list, he missed 18 days last year. That could have cost him the Cy Young.
Still won 17 games, lost only 6, and was number 3 in the National League with a 2.47 ERA. Rapp bunts it back to Leiter, and safe as Ordonez couldn't hang on. It's 2 on, nobody out. So Rapp got the bunt down. Leiter was aggressive. Better throw would have had him, but it's 2 on, nobody out for the Red Sox.
With a guy like Al Leiter, you have a 2-run lead. His ball moves so much that you have to play it safe. You have to go to first base here. Watch how the ball sails on Rey Ordonez. And if anybody's going to catch it, Ordonez will. But Al Leiter cannot throw a ball straight. Ordonez cannot control the ball. But watch how it sails on him, especially on a hurried throw like that. You have to play more of a passive defensive game when the team is playing for 1 run when you have a 2-run lead in the middle of the late innings.
They've ruled it a sacrifice E1 on the throw by Leiter. And it's 2 on with nobody out. Offerman stands in, top of the order for the Red Sox, who trail by 2. Do they bunt with Offerman? No. Not only no bunt, but an enormous swing by Jose. Strike 1.
Robin Ventura out to talk to Leiter, and the reason was the Mets infield were looking for the bunt off of Jose Offerman. They didn't get it, but Ordonez out of position on that play.
Red Sox get their first runner in scoring position in this game as Leiter brings a hard delivery inside. 1 ball 1 strike on Offerman, who is driven in 22. Red Sox with their first big scoring chance of the afternoon. They trail by a couple. Good pitch. Strike 2.
nasty cutter off the inside part of the plate. I guess Jimmy Williams thinking in this situation, and it makes sense, why bunt with Offerman when you're not going to double him up unless the ball's hit sharply to an infielder. Only 2 double plays grounded into this year.
Broken bat, ground ball up the middle. Alfonso steps, takes number 3 on the year. Offerman bounces into a crushing double play for the Red Sox. Thankfully, everybody's all right as that bat is stuck into the ground in the infield at Shea.
Also, thankfully for the Mets, that Al Leiter didn't make this play. I don't think they turn it if Leiter catches the ball. So the miss between the legs. 2 outs for the Mets.
And the reaction from Al Leiter, as Leiter, I'm sure agreeing with you, happy that he didn't touch that ball back through his legs. Take a look at today's General Motors game summary. Red Sox batting here in the 6th inning, trailing by a couple. Agbayani solo home run number 9 in the 3rd inning. Alfonso followed with a 2-out RBI double eventually in that 3rd. And Al Leiter's been very good on the mound, backing up a strong start on Sunday night at Yankee Stadium. Runner at 3rd, 2 out. Valentin grounds to short. Ordonez makes the play, inning over. Red Sox put their first 2 on. Al Leiter happy to get out of that 6th inning without any damage. Mets still lead by 2.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by Nextel. You've never used a phone like this before.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium. Bottom of the 6th inning. Mets come to bat. They lead by a couple. And it'll be Olerud, Piazza, and Ventura. Olerud takes the ball low from Pat Rapp. Red Sox just missed their chance with 2 on, nobody out in the top of the order coming up. They didn't bunt with Offerman. You can understand why, but Mets got exactly what they needed, a 4-3 double play, and then an inning-ending ground out by Valentin. 2-0 on Olerud.
John Olerud, one of the more engaging big league players, very quiet. Father, he and Kelly, of a 9-month-old son. And his name is Garrett John. Talking to John before the game today. The reason that he named his son Garrett John was that on his wife's side, her father and her brother are named John. And of course, John's named John, and his father is named John. So they have 4 Johns in the family. So he named his son Garrett John Olerud.
2 balls and a strike to Garrett's dad. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
I asked John, was he right-handed or left-handed? John said, I don't know yet, but if he's right-handed, my father's going to make a catcher out of it. His father played the minor leagues for 8 years as a catcher from 65 through 72.
The 2-2 pitch to Olerud. First up in the 6th inning. Into right field, well hit. Lewis back on the track, low up. That'll bring in Mike Piazza. 1 out of 2 this afternoon. Now has a 16-game hitting streak with that 2nd inning single.
Talked about right center the last time, Joe. Also left center. You can almost give Mike Piazza the left field line defensively. He likes the ball up. He likes to extend his arms. You've got to get ahead, and when you get ahead, if you can, soft stuff out of the strike zone away.
The official scorer has changed his ruling on that ball hit by Pat Rapp on the bunt. It's no longer a sacrifice E1. It is, as it should be, a fielder's choice E1. So no sacrifice. Can't have it both ways. Rapp reached after Lewis singled, but a double play ball followed. Valentin grounded out. 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out, nobody on Piazza. Mike has hit 12 home runs. That missed. 2 balls and a strike.
That was a key pitch for Pat Rapp right there. Instead of it being 1 ball and 2 strikes, now it's 2 balls and 1 strike, and you can't expand the strike zone. Very close, but low.
And the 2-1 pitch. Up the middle to his right, Offerman. Gets the backhand, picked up and thrown, 2 down. Jose timed that ground ball to his right, picked it up with a backhand, and made a tough play look rather easy.
It's obviously important to stay ahead of the batters, but a guy like Mike Piazza, it's imperative. 2-1 count, and that cut fastball under the glove of Rapp. Fielded nicely by Offerman.
So 2 away, and Robin Ventura, who's bounced into a double play and singled, stands in. Well pitched, well played game to this point. Breaking ball for a strike from Rapp. Pat Rapp, one of the original Florida Marlins, came up with San Francisco, selected in the expansion draft. Eventually worked his way back to San Francisco and spent last year with the Kansas City Royals. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rapp had a record of 12-13, now pitching for the Red Sox. 2-3 with an ERA over 5. A 1-1 to Ventura. 2 out, nobody on, is driven into right field. Back is Lewis at the wall. The wave goodbye. 3-0 Mets in the 6th. Number 10 for Ventura makes it a 3-run Met lead in the 6th inning.
From catcher cam. Tried to get inside with that cut fastball and failed.
Now Brian McRae with the bases empty. Chases 1, strike 1.
That's really the problem with that pitch. I wonder if Dave Wallace is talking about that. Usually if a pitching coach is talking to a hitter, it's something about what the pitcher is trying to do. But when you leave it out over the plate, that ball can be lethal from an offensive standpoint. Watch him try to come inside. And it just stays away. A cut fastball that didn't cut.
Now the 1-1 to McRae is popped foul. Ventura and Wallace still talking it over in the Mets dugout. Wallace was a guy who I know you and I both appreciated the job he did with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
When there were so many language barriers with that rotation. Ball and 2 strikes with the bases empty. 2-2. He had what? Ramon Martinez from the Dominican Republic. He had Chan-Ho Park from Korea. Ishmael Valdez from Mexico. He was working with a knuckleballer, Tom Candiotti.
Hideo Nomo from
Japan. And that was the rotation that he worked with out in Los Angeles. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ooh, that just missed. 3-2. Gray 0 for 1, hit by a pitch his last time up. Eventually was out stealing to end the 4th. Batting in the 6th. Run already home for the Mets. Big crowd, quiet crowd here at Shea so far. Ball 4 gives a 2-out walk to McRae. These New York sports fans have got to be a little worn out with everything that's gone on here with the Mets, with the Yankees, and of course with the Knicks winning last night to move on as an 8th seed to the NBA Finals to take on San Antonio. Here's a visit from Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach. But there's also hockey, and there's hockey this Thursday. And we ask you to not miss the Stanley Cup Finals when the intensity picks up in critical Game 5. The Buffalo Sabres, the Dallas Stars battling out for hockey's ultimate prize, Stanley Cup. It's Game 5 Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. Back to the intimate view of the right side of Joe Kerrigan's face. Well, before Benny Agbayani's at bat here, they play the theme from Hawaii 5-0.
You may remember that when Joe Kerrigan was out talking to Pat Rapp the time before with runners on at first and second and 1 out, he said throw fastballs away to Agbayani. Pat Rapp missed with the first 3 and then connected with the next 3 to strike out Benny. And they tagged out Brian McRae as he and Ventura attempted the double steal after the strikeout.
1 on, 2 out. McRae stays put as Agbayani takes strike 1. That walk to McRae with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. The first walk that's been handed out all day. Al Leiter has really improved his control over the past couple of years. That was one of his problems while in Toronto at the end and then down in Florida. 1 on, 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike to the man who crushed this back in the 3rd. Breaking ball hanging, and see you later. He is 1 out of 2 this afternoon in batting with McRae at first, 2 out. Brian McRae, by the way, has stolen only 2 bases. He's been caught 4 times. Here it is on 1-1. Pitch was up. A ball and 2 strikes.
Joe, it's going on 3:02 here in New York, and in Hawaii now it's 9:02. There it is on cue. Hawaii terribly proud of this young man, and they well should be. Similar to when Sid Fernandez used to pitch with the Mets, a huge Hawaiian following. They are catching our game over there in mid-morning.
The 1-2 pitch the opposite way. Lewis, a late break, diving catch to end the inning. A little dive, a little slide, whatever you want to call it. He got a bad break, but Lewis, with that athletic ability, recovered. We'll be back to Shea Stadium after this from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Welcome back to Shea Stadium as we move to the 7th inning. This game flying right along as he plants the kiss of death on the time of game for the rest of the afternoon. 3-0. The Mets out in front with Garciaparra leading off. The pride of Wayne Britton, the vice president of scouting for the Boston Red Sox, selected Garciaparra. Played at Georgia Tech. What a draft the Red Sox had back in 1994 as Garciaparra fouls it out of play, strike 2. And no more Garciaparra. Carl Pavano, which was the main player that the Red Sox traded to get Pedro Martinez. Donnie Sadler, Rose, who has pitched so well, Brian Rose, Michael Coleman, a hot hitting outfielder. 0-2 the count. Garciaparra fights it off, spoils a good pitch. Count still 0-2.
Summer swings, summer pokes. That was a poke then.
That's a view from the bat boy who's wearing our catcher cam. Still with Gubonic. Garciaparra keeps it 0-2. Is that the bat boy? It's Jeff Fry. Good. I've alienated him for the rest of my life. Hey, there's the announcer who said I was a bat boy. Sorry you were wearing a hockey mask. I couldn't see in there, Jeff. 0-2 the count. Nice wholesome looking young man. Ball and 2 strikes. Garciaparra is 0 for 2 today. Came in hitting .322. Foils that pitch. It's amazing the success Garciaparra has had, especially considering the departure of Mo Vaughn. And they've had Garciaparra. They're so flexible with him, and he is so flexible. He can hit anywhere in this lineup. Hitting third now, even without one of the best hitters in the American League in that lineup with him. He's had another very productive start to the season. As he checks his swing, he went around too far, and Garciaparra is gone for strikeout number 4 for Al Leiter.
Talked about the pitching coach on the check swing right here. Talked about the pitching coach of the Red Sox, Joe Kerrigan, and what he had to say. We're going to show you that before the inning's out as Garciaparra goes too far.
Look at Joe Kerrigan.
Just make sure you need the good discipline of your mind to stay with good mechanics, okay? This is your buddy. Any breaking ball you throw to him, make sure it's a ball. All right? Make sure it's a ball. But we're going to go after him with gas. We're going to do the same thing. We'll start out with out or half. Okay? Make him beat you to the biggest part of the ballpark. You got enough of a blow?
Yeah.
Take a couple deep breaths. Yeah, take a couple deep breaths when I walk off. All right? Give yourself a little extra.
What's that?
Yeah, he's a little gas.
Stanley pops one into left field, pretty well hit. Agbayani back in front of the track to pull it in. 2 out.
We saw Joe Kerrigan go out and talk to Pat Rapp when Agbayani was up the first time. Fastballs away. They stayed with that same pattern. And sure enough, Agbayani cooperated by hitting the ball to the fat part of the field. Flied out on a ball off the end of the bat the other way. So he has not seen a curveball since that home run his first time up.
Damon Buford now 1 out of 2 this afternoon, batting with 2 out. The base is empty. Leiter pounds a fastball in there. It's about this time you start to wonder if Leiter's going to have enough to go the entire 9 here this afternoon. The Mets have gone 81 games without a complete game for one of their starters, which is the second longest streak alive in the major leagues. Detroit leads the way.
The last complete game by a Mets pitcher, Al Leiter, September 4th of last year.
Buford hits it hard to center. McRae got a terrible jump and will play it on a hop. A 2-out single for Buford. That 81 games, Tim, you were asking before the game, the longest stretch in their history for the Mets without a complete game from their starter. Pitch was up from Leiter, and Buford hopped all over that.
Our thanks to Steve Horn staying on top of that story. Well, I mean, here's an organization who has prided itself on pitching since the Tom Seaver day, the great pitching staff of 1969. So, I mean, one would think that 81 games without a complete game would be the longest streak in their history.
And it might be another indication as to what kind of a job Bob Apodaca has done with this pitching staff. Now, I know recently fired on last Saturday night, but this is not a dominant starting rotation. Yet last year, if they get a win in any one of their last 5 games, they end up in a tie and headed to a tiebreaker situation to try to get into the playoffs. Playoff before the playoffs. And they were right there close but couldn't get in. O'Leary took a ball, now another. It's 2-0.
Steve Phillips, the general manager of the Mets, realizing that had the Mets won one of the last 5 games, they get in the playoffs as one of 3 teams tied for the wild card in the National League. It would have been the first time ever in Major League history of a 3-team tie.
Buford got a great jump and steals second almost uncontested. Late throw by Piazza, not a very strong one, and all Ordonez did was get down and block it, keep it from going into center.
Good jump, easy steal by Buford, but to sew that point up, I think from a psychological standpoint, if the Mets reached postseason last year, they entered the 1999 season with all the improvements and the onus off Bobby Valentine. 1,602 games without a postseason appearance. Much the same as Jimmy Williams and the Boston Red Sox. At least they did something last year to get themselves into postseason. John Valentin explaining yesterday that was a huge boost to a young ball club.
3 balls and a strike. O'Leary bloops one down the left field line, and this is going to put the Red Sox on the board. Agbayani kicks it around in left. It's probably a double either way you look at it. It's 3-1 Mets in the 7th. Pitching coach Dave Wallace. We were talking about Bob Apodaca. Here's the new guy, Dave Wallace, talking about handling this pitching staff as he visits Al Leiter.
The biggest thing is you have to learn is how to deal with the guys during the ball game. A lot of pitchers, you know, like to be left alone, and it's difficult to talk to them and say between innings, the 3rd and the 4th inning, when they've had a tough time. So I think, as is very much in coaching, the same goes in teaching. You have to pick your spots when the information is going to have an impact. And in order to do that, you've got to take the time to learn the personality. So that's the difficult part. Yeah, you know the guys before the game and during batting practice and when they're throwing. But you know what? In the heat of battle, it's a little bit different. So that's what's going to take a little bit of time.
A lot of controversy surrounding the firing of Bob Apodaca, but I'll echo what I said earlier and what we, I know, agree on. The Mets ended up with a great selection for somebody to replace Apodaca and Dave Wallace. Here's Gubonic batting with the runner at 2nd and 2 down. It's an RBI double for Troy O'Leary. That's the way it's scored.
Keep in mind that no Met starter has an earned run average under 5. Only Tampa Bay has starters in that particular predicament. Tampa Bay being the only other club with no starter with an earned run average under 5, and Dave Wallace trying to remedy that situation.
Gubonic is 0 for 2. He's fouled out. He's flying to center. And he looks for the 2-out RBI hit. Runner at 2nd, O'Leary, 2 down. A 1-1. High heat, a ball and 2 strikes. Here's what you're talking about, Tim, with the Mets starters and the ERAs. Rick Reed 5.24. You read all the way up. Hershiser, Yoshi, Jones, Leiter 5.87 after an ERA of under 2.5 last year. Crowd wants a strikeout. 1-2 pitch. Ooh, they almost got it. 2-2. Mets get the left-hander Dennis Cook loosening out in their bullpen. Leiter nearly out of the 7th inning with that last pitch, but it's a 2-2 count. Runner at 2nd, 2 down. 3-1 Mets. Full count. Darren Lewis waits on deck. Three-2 pitch. Ripped. Foul. Gubonic hit that hard down the left field line.
Talked about it early in the game. If you put the fat part of the bat on the ball, you're often going to pull Al Leiter foul.
Creighton Gubonic has driven in 5 runs this season. Limited work. 3-2 pitch. Up the middle, base hit. That'll score O'Leary. Gubonic delivers. It's a 1-run game. 3-2 here in the 7th.
What a terrific at bat by the young Creighton Gubonic. 8 years in the minor leagues. Watch his rear end on this swing. Whoops, but strong enough to whack it to the left of Ordonez. There it is right there. You can see the contact on the fat part of the bat. Not a picture swing, but the reason he took a swing like that, Leiter had been throwing the fastball in. He went away, and Gubonic delivered. Fine piece of hitting by Creighton Gubonic, who's going to be pinch run for here.
Oh my gosh, it's the bat boy coming out to run. Oh, that's Jeff Fry.
Small Fry. This takes the right-handed bat off the Boston lineup. And now Bobby Valentine having Dennis Cook warm up. So you can't, he's the left-hander, of course, and only left-handed bats on the bench for the Boston Red Sox. Trot Nixon, Reggie Jefferson, Brian Daubach, so Jeff Fry now the pinch runner. That takes the right-handed pinch hitter out of there. Jason Varitek, however, is a switch hitter.
So it's Fry, the tying run at first, 2 out, and Darren Lewis at the plate. Leiter now struggling to get through 7. Numbers for Lewis, he's driven in only 12. Leiter got the first 2 in the inning. 2-0, and you can see Leiter upset with that last delivery.
Well, with Al Leiter's staple his fastball, Roger Cedeno's into right center field. In my opinion, the outfield should be way around toward the right field line, because if Darren Lewis puts the ball in play, particularly a fastball, he's going to hit it to right field.
In for a strike, 2-1.
Darren Lewis is a dominant right field hitter, and in my judgment, the Mets outfield is playing straight away, and they should be over toward the right field line.
The 2-1, 2-2. So again, Leiter is 1 pitch away from getting out of this long 7th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 runs home, 1 on, 2 out. Inside, 3-2. "94 pitches on the day, 29 this inning." For the man on your left, Al Leiter. Runner will go. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lewis pops it foul off to the right.
Sometimes a foul ball can push the outfield toward the line, and that's what's happened to Cedeno. He moved about 5 feet toward the right field line once Lewis hit the jam shot down the first base line, and now he's moving back toward right center. Out of position in right.
Fry will go at first. 3-2 pitch. Foul outside third. Al Leiter may be working to his final hitter of the afternoon. Dennis Cook is ready out in the Mets bullpen. Jason Varitek, switch hitting catcher, waits on deck. Leiter is also due up second in the bottom of the 7th inning, so they'd love to get Leiter through this top half. Use that good Mets bullpen. A lot riding on this 3-2 pitch. Do it again. Darren Lewis, a personal favorite. As you look at his manager now, Jimmy Williams on your left, personal favorite of Dusty Baker's, who played for the Giants. 3-2 pitch again. Lewis fouls it away, and it's been a pretty good at bat for Darren Lewis.
With Jeff Fry running, talking of the outfielders, they'd play a step or 2 deeper in this situation to prevent that short double from scoring Jeff Fry.
Again, the 3-2 pitch. Now the tying run's down at second. The go-ahead run is on Darren Lewis. A walk, first walk issued by Leiter. And with Varitek walking in, we keep an eye on that dugout, but no sign of Bobby Valentine or Dave Wallace out to make a move. So they're going to let Leiter hang in there and try to get through 7. Nothing out of the dugout for the Mets yet, as Leiter tries to pitch around a 2-out walk. Jason Varitek walks in, and to Dan Duquette's credit, what a deal he made with Seattle, sending Heathcliff Slocum to Seattle for this man, Jason Varitek, who has shown tremendous improvement at the plate and behind it. And Derek Lowe. Varitek has a chance to tie the game with a hit. A strike from Leiter. Up to 100 pitches. And again, he's due up second. How many times do you see where a pitcher is hitting in the next inning affect? The home plate umpire gets into it with the Boston dugout. How many times do you see where a pitcher is about to hit affect the way the top or the bottom of an inning is managed prior to that at bat?
Maybe going with a pitcher 1 or 2 batters too late.
A 1-2 pitch, strike 2, 0-2 as Leiter tries to work his way through this 7th inning.
Varitek, meanwhile, has pinch hit twice this year. He's 1 for 2, a home run.
Jam popped up, Oru over. So Leiter does indeed get through 7. Bobby Valentine and Dave Wallace stuck with him. And after 6.5 innings, an upset Leiter back to the dugout with a 1-run lead. Welcome back to Shea Stadium. Who is our A&W fan cam zeroed in on today? Several kids are being maybe introduced to the game today, and they are being introduced to a pretty good game between the Red Sox and the Mets. Nice sized crowd here at Shea Stadium on Beach Towel Day. And let's take you to Sam Marciano, who is standing by with Dan Duquette.
You took a lot of heat before the season started with Mo Vaughn leaving Boston and then the signing of Jose Offerman to a big contract. Boston fans were real cynical, real pessimistic. Team is now off to a good start. What did you know that those fans didn't know?
Well, we really had a good pitching staff, and we had a good defensive team, and that was going to be the strength of our team, irregardless of who we had out there. And thankfully, Offerman got off to a good start, and we've been able to replace some of Mo Vaughn's lost power with Brian Dahlbeck and Mike Stanley.
You guys are a half game out of first place, but last night's game broke a 5-game losing streak for the team. Are you happy with where the team is at, or are you going to be looking for something to stay in contention?
Well, we've been scuffling for runs, and we're probably going to need some offensive help the rest of the way to stay in contention, and we're going to need to stay away from some injuries.
Okay, Dan Duquette, thanks very much. Now let's go back to Joe Buck.
All right, Sam Marciano, thank you, and thanks to Dan Duquette. Derek Lowe is the new pitcher for the Red Sox after Rapp went 6 innings. New battery in there for the Red Sox as strike 2 is into Ordonez. Jason Varitek, who pinch hit and popped up to end the top of the 7th, is catching. Derek Lowe with a record of 0-2. Brings home the 1-2 pitch. Just outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Good sinker balling right-hander is Derek Lowe. 2-2 delivery. Lowe 3-2.
What an impact Pedro Martinez has had on this Red Sox ball club. He has almost as many strikeouts, for instance, as all the other starters combined, and he's won almost as many games.
Still 3-2 on Ordonez.
A case can be made that Pedro Martinez is the most important player in baseball as far as his importance to one ball club. Look at these staggering numbers. Martinez compared to the rest of the starters.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Do it yet again. Another look at those numbers for Pedro Martinez.
Is he worth $12 million? You betcha.
Especially in today's market.
Absolutely.
Which, my gosh, when he signed a $12 million contract, everybody thought, what is happening?
Yeah.
What's going on? All of a sudden, Kevin Brown signs for $15 a year as Lowe misses low and away. And Ray Ordonez takes a walk, and I don't think anybody who watches baseball on a regular basis would doubt that Pedro Martinez is as nasty a pitcher as there is in the game, younger than Kevin Brown of the Dodgers, and more valuable than Kevin Brown of the Dodgers.
And younger than Randy Johnson of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
He could very well start the All-Star game in Boston on July 13th, which we will have for you. I've talked to some people who played this game in the 50s and the 60s, and they say he might have the best stuff of any pitcher they've ever seen.
Wow. Whew. Is that high praise?
And I won't say the names, but it's somebody, actually two people that I know you respect very much. But in today's game, I think Kevin Brown, Greg Maddux, Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez, slowly but surely more and more are realizing that Pedro Martinez is the best arm in the game.
Have to go some for over a much longer period of time to have the dominance over a long period of time that Nolan Ryan had.
Yeah,
however.
and that's the difference. The key word is stuff. I mean, he's got incredible pitching stuff. Nasty changeup.
Oh, same arm motion as the fastball. Hitters literally don't know whether they're coming or going against Martinez, whether to stay back or go forward.
1 ball, no strikes. Matt Franco pinch hitting, takes a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. On Franco off the bench to hit for Leiter, who is finished after 7. So the Mets will go at least 82 consecutive games without a complete game from one of their starters. Al Leiter goes 7. Leaves with a lead, 3-2 lead. He allowed 2 runs on 6 hits. Franco grounds to first. Stanley arranged to his right. Throw back is wild, but it stays in play, and Franco's at first with 1 away. We asked Pedro Martinez about his role as the ace of this Red Sox staff.
It's really important the way I handle myself out there, because I know that there are some other kids like Brian Rose and Pat Rapp and some of the other pitchers that are looking up to me to see if they can probably match what I did or just get to the level I am today. And I feel like I have a big responsibility with that.
He has fulfilled that responsibility so far.
1 on, 1 out, back to the top of the order, and Cedeno checked his swing on ball 1. We talk about Pedro Martinez, one of the Red Sox starters. Good news for the Mets and Al Leiter. 2 consecutive strong outings at Yankee Stadium on Sunday night and here today. 7 innings. Struck out 4, allowed just 2 runs on 6 hits. 3-2 Mets, 7th inning. Runner at first, 1 out. Cedeno again shows bunt, missed it. Throw behind Franco. 1 ball, 1 strike on Roger Cedeno.
Here's a situation that's one of the oddest in baseball. If an infielder gets a very slowly hit ball to him, do you go to second for the force out or first to get Cedeno? In my mind, you go to first to get Cedeno and leave Franco, the much slower runner, at second.
1 ball, 1 strike. Cedeno pops it foul.
It's one of those quirky situations where a man is at the plate with 33 steals as you look at Armando Benitez warming up. It's a very odd situation. You have to think about it from an infielder standpoint. Matt Franco, a very slow runner. So if you're only going to get 1, you go to first and not second.
Struck him out on the inside corner, so it doesn't matter. Lowe strikes out Cedeno, 2 out with a runner at first.
Al Leiter quite upset. Not upset at being taken out. That's prior to that, but upset with the inning that he had in the 7th. Fine job by Al Leiter, his 2nd consecutive good outing.
Runner at first now. Franco 2 out, and Edgardo Alfonzo, who has an RBI double in this game, takes a ball. Alfonzo now with 31 RBIs. Drove in Ordonez back in the 3rd inning with 2 out. Making balls a strike, and it had Alfonzo's knees buckling. 1-1. Edgardo hitting .296. So you honestly would have taken the out at first base. instead of getting the lead runner, leading by 1 run in the 7th inning.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Put Cedeno on at first base. He's going to steal second. You have a guy on second then. No chance to get him on a base hit to the outfield.
Slowly hit ground ball to third. Valentin makes the play. Good play to end the 7th inning. We've had our first disagreement of 1999.
Good. It won't be the last.
I guarantee. Armando Benitez takes over 8th inning, 3-2 Mets. Armando Benitez takes over as we move to the 8th inning. Well, we've had our first one.
Our first spat.
Our first spat of the year. You can't tell me that you're going to pass up the force out at second base, even if it's Cedeno running. What if he falls flat on his face trying to steal second base? What if
he's not going to do that?
Okay. All right.
Not going to do that. They tried to pitch out the time before. They tried. Plus, you've got a new catcher in the game. Not only that, you don't have the starting catcher, so you have a guy in there whose arm's not fresh. Or if it's fresh, it's too fresh.
Here's Armando Benitez. Fresh with a 1.76 ERA. This guy has been mowing him down. 49 strikeouts, 32 2/3 innings. But he's fallen behind Jose Offerman 2-0. Top of the order for the Red Sox, so it's up to that Mets bullpen. The 2-0, 3-0. This guy can throw it through a wall, but sometimes he has trouble hitting that wall. Control can be a problem. 3 balls, no strikes. Leadoff walk on 4 consecutive pitches. That won't sit well for these Mets fans. Next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, we'll take you down to the field with Fox's Sounds of the Game. The Mets take on the Cardinals, plus other regional action. Coverage starts with In the Zone at 12:30 Eastern and Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. So we will have our first Mark McGwire sighting on the Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Mr. McGwire with 19 home runs. He has been hot of late. 1 on, tying run on, nobody out after a leadoff walk, and finally a strike from Benitez. 49 strikeouts to Billy Wagner's 50. The outstanding young left-handed closer for the Houston Astros. The 0-1 to Valentin. 1 out of 3 today. That drills the outside corner. 0-2.
Right-handed hitter like Valentin's got to say, you throw 4 straight balls, you're not even close. Come up on me with fastball down the middle and a fastball right on the corner. What's going on here?
Steve Phillips has been under fire lately, but you look at the products of the trade, the 3-way trade that the Mets were involved in over the offseason. You know who got the best of that deal? That's popped up behind the plate. And it's backing out of play. You get Armando Benitez, flame-throwing right-hander, and Roger Cedeno. You give up Todd Hundley, who is struggling out with the Dodgers. And the other piece of the puzzle was Charles Johnson going to the Baltimore Orioles. That is some young talent that the Mets added to their roster when they got Benitez and Cedeno.
Not only the speed of Cedeno, as you look at the left-hander Dennis Cook, Turk Wendell, the right-hander.
Line drive to Ventura. 1 away. Valentin gone. Now 1 out of 4. And a pretty good duel coming up between Nomar Garciaparra and Armando Benitez. This ought to be interesting as Garciaparra stands in 0 for 3, a strikeout victim his last time up.
Benitez won the battle last night, striking out Nomar in the 9th inning.
Fastball fouled back, out of play to the right.
Both Garciaparra, I should say all 3 of them, Piazza, Garciaparra, Benitez. Remember, obviously, the pitch he went out on. A slider low and away out of the strike zone. Benitez trying to get ahead. We'll see if he goes to the slider now to Nomar Garciaparra.
30 home runs each of the first 2+ seasons. Garciaparra on that list as he fouls it out of play off to the right. And again, you're talking about a young man who's only 25 years old, about to turn 26 in the month of July. 30+ home runs in the first 2 seasons. That's quite a list, including the last 2 entries before Nomar. Ron Kittle, in the early 80s with the White Sox. Runner at first. That's the tying run off from, and 1 out, and an 0-2 count on Garciaparra. 8th inning. Mets lead by 1.
That was a mistake. A fastball right down the pipe on an 0-2 count. A lot of people think incorrectly that major league hitters hit mistakes. And good pitches, you get them out. Not so.
There's a wasted delivery on 0-2. Benitez went to the extreme after, I'm sure, his heart skipped a beat when that pitch was bisecting the plate belt high to Garciaparra. 1-2, 1 on, 1 out. Piazza scooped it up, 2-2.
Sliders on the last 2 pitches after 3 straight fastballs. That was the slider that Garciaparra went too far on last night.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Runner Offerman goes as Garciaparra fouls it back over our heads.
So difficult to pitch to Garciaparra. A lethal inside hitter. Up and in, on the hands in. So quick.
Benitez had it 0-2. It's now 2-2. Offerman goes again. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 2 gone. They let Offerman take second, and he's there with 2 out as Garciaparra strikes out for the 2nd consecutive time.
A slider in the strike zone. Boy, that was a wicked, heavy, sinking slider right there to get Garciaparra.
All Nomar can do is shake his head as now this inning is up to Mike Stanley.
Mike Piazza, 22% this year. A couple of stolen bases against Mike and Al Leiter, and now Armando Benitez this afternoon.
Red Sox looking for another 2-out RBI hit. Stanley, strike 1. Stanley's driven in 30, hit 6 home runs. Nasty pitch, strike 2. That's unfair. How about that swing by Stanley?
To follow a fastball on the corner to a slider, or with the slider, Mike really caught in between, understandably caught in between. 2 nasty pitches by Benitez.
Tying run at second, 2 out. Crowd finally comes alive, and they get in behind the runner Offerman. No throw, wisely. We've got a hitter set up here, 0-2. To me, go get the hitter.
Absolutely.
What are you playing around at second base for? And that's more Ordonez and Benitez. The 0-2 driven into left field. Stanley didn't get a lot of it. Benny Agbayani, inning over. A leadoff walk, but Benitez has the kind of stuff to get around it. He does, and the Mets still lead by 1.
Fox Saturday Baseball is brought to you by the people inspired to build vehicles for your mind and heart. Nissan, driven. By mailboxes, etc., making business easier worldwide. By Remington's Microscreen Free Shaver, built to shave incredibly close. And by Energizer Advanced Formula Battery. No battery lasts longer.
Back inside Shea Stadium. Mets fans, the Mets hanging on to a 1-run lead. Boston won last night in a come from behind effort. They had the lead, then lost that lead in the 9th inning, eventually won it in the 12th. Mark Guthrie, former Dodger, former Twin, is the new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. As we play in the bottom of the 8th inning, one scoreless inning for Derek Lowe with 1 walk, 1 strikeout. A lot of kids in attendance here today on Beach Towel Day. That's nice to see. Decent sized crowd, not packed, but a big crowd here at Shea. Olerud against Guthrie. Ball 1. Third pitcher of the day for the Red Sox. Pat Rapp 6 innings. Derek Lowe 1, and now Guthrie. One ball, 1 strike on John Olerud.
John Olerud, a player that sprays the ball around, but he has good power the other way. He's more apt to hit the ball to left field against a left-hander than he is a right-hander.
Except here, driven into deep right field and gone. 4-2 New York. Number 10 for John Olerud gives the Mets a 2-run 8th inning lead.
One caveat: if the ball is right in here, that down and in area right here, then John Olerud tries to pull the ball. Watch where the pitch is. Sandwich to right.
One of the big reasons why Jimmy Williams called on this left-hander. Piazza fouls it out of play. Brings in Guthrie to pitch to Olerud, and he makes that mistake down and in.
Down and in right there. He is lethal, as most left-handers are, and that's where the pitch was. Down and in. All you do is drop the bat head on that ball down and in. Left-handers do it better than right-handers.
One ball, 1 strike.
As a matter of fact, Joe, I would say, all things considered equal, that is the most dangerous area for a home run. The ball down and in to most left-handed batters than any other area to lefties or righties.
Piazza hits a scorcher to Garciaparra. 1 out. Mets have used the long ball here today. 3 of their 4 runs have been solo home runs. Agbayani. And it was a big one hit by Benny Agbayani to lead off the 3rd inning. Get the Mets going today after a tough loss last night. Then Ventura in the 6th, and now Olerud here in the 8th.
Down and in area, lethal, you betcha.
Here is Ventura. 2 out of 3 today. And a breaking ball for a strike.
Sound like I'm from Fargo. That's my 2nd you betcha today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha. 1 out, nobody on. Ventura. The Mets closer and the loser in last night's 12th inning, John Franco, getting ready. Oh, 2 to Robbins. Olerud watching as Ventura waits for the 1-2 pitch from Guthrie. Veritek scoops it up. 2-2. The Red Sox in the 9th inning. They'll be trailing by at least 2. We'll have Buford, O'Leary. The first 2 up, trying to get something started. Pitcher spot is due up 3rd. 2-2 pitch. Ventura out in front, 2 down. Well, here's your chance to win a Nissan Frontier Crew Cab, the first compact pickup with 4 real front hinge doors. Just answer the question below and log on to foxsports.com for your chance to win. Winners will be announced live during the All-Star Game on July 13th. www.foxsports.com. Here's McCray. Switch hitter, turns around and bats right-handed. Base is empty behind Guthrie as he finds the strike zone with McCray. Ryan has walked, been hit by a pitch, 0 for 1 today. One ball, one strike. New York Islanders.
We're close to Long Island.
Saw a couple of Spreewell jerseys out today.
Yeah, saw that.
Good reason.
Uh-huh.
King of New York right now. 1-1 pitch is hit the opposite way. Darren Lewis is there to pull it in, and the inning is over. A leadoff home run by John Olerud gives the Mets a little breathing room. He hits number 10. He got Guthrie, and after 8, Mets lead by 2. Folks, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. That out of the way, we will describe this 9th inning. Red Sox come to the plate down by 2. There's Stick.
Gene Michael following the Mets for the next interleague matchup of the Yankees and Mets the first weekend in July as John Franco is on. John Franco, the losing pitcher in last night's ball game. 411 saves, second to Lee Smith. All-time save record.
Buford leads it off and takes a ball up and away. 14 saves this year, tied for 3rd in the National League. It's John Franco. The day for Buford, an ex-Met, 2 out of 3. Red Sox need a base runner to have a chance here in the 9th inning, down 4-2. These two teams on the verge of splitting the first 2 games of this set.
Damon Buford should be taking this 2-0 pitch.
And he does. It's 3-0. You see the 10-game losing streak on the part of John Franco. The crowd gets on John as he's fallen behind. 3 balls, no strikes. A high strike, 3-1.
See if Damon Buford takes another fastball. For the most part, you're going to get a same pitch 3-2 that you will 3-1. You force Franco to throw 2 straight balls in the strike zone.
Is he taking? Looks like it. 3-2. To me, that's smart baseball.
Smart, absolutely.
Buford with a full count leading it off. 9th inning. See you later. 1 away. Never swung the bat. Took 3 out of the zone, took 3 in it. On the Fox Saturday Night of Justice, hit the streets with lady officers posing as prostitutes and all new cops. Then last week, we showed you this accused serial killer. Now he may have murdered 2 more. One survivor's exclusive interview on an all-new America's Most Wanted tonight, starting at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, here on Fox. 1 out, nobody on. Troy O'Leary right back up the middle for a 1-out single. Tim, you mentioned when the Red Sox brought in Jeff Fry to pinch run in the 7th inning, they got rid of their only right-handed bat off the bench. As you watch this one narrowly miss the noggin of John Franco. So they go to a left-handed hitting Trot Nixon here, but throwing a left-hander up against John Franco is never a bad idea.
As Troy O'Leary just proved, left-handers are much more comfortable against Franco than they are against most left-handed pitchers because he doesn't have that biting breaking ball away. They can sit more in one area, as Nixon will try to do.
Trot Nixon off the bench for the Red Sox, squirts it foul past Wendell Kim, the 3rd base coach for the Red Sox. So Boston has their chance. A 1-out single by Troy O'Leary, and it's Nixon up now with Darren Lewis to follow. A spot originally held in the lineup by Creighton Gubanek. Singled homer run, then was lifted for a pinch runner in the 7th. Nixon took a high strike. It's 0-2. Barring a game-ending double play ball, Darren Lewis will be next. John Franco in search of save number 15. One ball, 2 strikes. Bobby Valentine, after that weekend in the Bronx, they got the win Sunday night after the 3 firings. They then swept the series, won 4 in a row. They swept the series against Toronto, lost a tough one last night. Trying to get right back on the beam here this afternoon. The 1-2 to Trot Nixon. Had him reaching. Ordonez will make the play first, 2 gone. Looked like Ordonez was going to go to the bag because he thought John Franco might come up with that ground ball, and then he had to change direction and go get it himself.
So he went over and in and then took the proper route. Because it's a 2-run game here in the 9th inning. Just get 1 out. The value of that home run by John Olerud.
And now you've got Darren Lewis at the plate, who has hit a grand total of 1 home run in 1999. With more of a home run threat and Veritek on deck. This is where John Franco wants this 9th inning to end, right here. Tying run at the plate, 2 out. 4-2 Mets, 9th inning. And a ground ball to short. Ordonez has it. Mets win it 4-2. A nice win for the Mets today after a tough loss last night.
Not only a tough loss last night, but a 1-run game and losing in 12 innings as the Mets try to string another group of victories together. They had the 4-game winning streak before last night's game. They lost and will face Mark Portugal tomorrow afternoon.
Leiter wins his 2nd in a row. He gets the victory now, 4-5. Wrap the loser. A save for Franco, number 15. Back to Shea after this. Well, there's your final from Shea Stadium. The Mets win it over the Boston Red Sox 4-2. Leiter good enough again today. He has strung 2 very strong starts back-to-back at Yankee Stadium on Sunday night and here today in front of the home crowd. It's time for today's play of the game, brought to you by Energizer. And for a while, the difference in the game, the home run hit by Robin Ventura. His 10th of the year. It came in the 6th inning. It put the Mets out in front 3-0. They led 3-2 until Olerud went deep in the 8th to make it 4-2, and that's the final. We'll come back and wrap up the day from Shea Stadium after this break. Well, things are a little better around Shea after losing 8 straight. The New York Mets have won 5 of their last 6, and they get this one today over the Boston Red Sox. A final of 4-2 as Al Leiter has won consecutive decisions. We want to send get well wishes to Lillian Steinberg listening in today. And we want to thank our producer, Mike Weissman, our director, Bill Webb, our associate director, Aaron Stoico. As always, Steve Horn assisting here in the booth. For Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck. So long from Shea Stadium. With a final score, the Mets beat the Red Sox 4-2. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of Major League Baseball. Good evening, everybody, from Queens.
This is the place where champions are crowned, where legends are made, and dreams come true. This has been a presentation of Fox Sports.